Recently, I set out on my first moto camping trip of the season. I only had 48 hours to do it, but as you'll see, I packed a whole lot of adventure into that time. Unfortunately, my journey did start out with quite a bit of pavement. I rode about 140 kilometers up Kootenay Lake. This is about as good as pavement gets, so even if pavement's not really my favorite thing, I did have a lot of fun, especially because the weather was gorgeous. However, as soon as I hit the dirt, the fun really began. I'm heading up to the Glacier Creek wreck site on Duncan Lake. This has been a favorite early season spot of mine for years, and you'll see just why in a minute. Oh, let's go get rowdy with all the camping gear. Oh yeah. I always try to pack as light as possible while camping. However, I was certainly feeling the extra weight of all of my luggage through this sandy section. Normally I take the lower line, but it is soup. The play here. Whew. Yeah, wow. That is bad over there. Riding across that sand and that rocky side hill really sucked with all of my camping gear. So I decided that it was best to ditch my camping gear. So I had some lunch while setting up camp, and that gave me something to do while waiting for some of my friends to arrive. After they arrived, we set out back onto the beach to explore a bit more. Well, this looks soupy. That was risky business. You might get burned. Woo! I'm glad you didn't stop.
Yeah.
British Columbia isn't particularly known for flat, sandy areas, kind of like the one that we're riding on. In fact, it almost mimics a desert. So if you're wondering what we're on, it is actually the bottom of a lake bed, a man-made lake, that gets drained every spring in preparation for the spring freshet. It's hard to beat scenery like this, especially for early season April riding. Obviously, the riding was absolutely spectacular. I'll let the video speak for itself on that one. Unfortunately, two of the guys we were riding with had to head home for the night. However, me and Shelby kept on riding until the sun almost went down, and then we worked on getting our camp ready for the night. Notice the high-tech firewood system that I have going on with my DR. After hanging out around the fire for a while, we settled in for the night. It got to around freezing, and unfortunately for me, that meant I was very, very cold. So I got up early the next morning to get the fire going, and then some more of our friends showed up, and we continued ripping it up out on the trails. DR650s aren't particularly known for their prowess on sand. However, I found that with some proper riding technique and a whole lot of throttle input, it actually worked pretty well and was a whole pile of fun.
That was cool, but not the right line. So we actually cut around, and then that's the one we want to hill climb.
This terrain that we're on right here is probably better suited for an actual dirt bike. However, I didn't have too much trouble keeping up with the dirt bike guys on the DR. And when you factor in just how comfortable this bike is to ride on the highway, and that I was able to bring all of my camping gear on it, it really just goes to show how capable these bikes are as a true all-rounder dual sport.
Yeah, there was some way through here that didn't suck.
just like the day before, there were absolutely no complaints about the terrain and scenery that we were getting to ride.
Yeah, through there. Oh boy.
The riding on day 2 and the weather was just as epic as the first day. Unfortunately, eventually the time came for me to pack up my camping gear, hop on the DR, and start working my way back to Creston. Luckily, it was a beautiful ride down Kootenay Lake, and all in all, I can't think of a better way to have spent this weekend. What an awesome trip out of the house, and a great first trip of the 2025 moto camping season. If you want to see more adventure and riding videos like this one, let me know down in the comments and be sure to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.